Sean O'Neill here. Now, let's be real. Every year we add new part modeling tools that might look cool in demos that I create or one of my teammates creates, but for whatever reason, it might not make it into your day-to-day workflows. But I want to make a pitch to you. Over the past few releases, I really think that there have been some feature updates that can be game changers for you when it comes to some common important tasks. Things like working with imported data, 3D model edits and finishes, and working with other people. Now, I know you at least do 2 out of the 3 of those, so please stay with me. All right. Okay. Without further ado, let's get caught up. Number 1, direct mesh editing. I was just talking with someone about this. Imported mesh data used to be kind of a dead end for a lot of people. You think, hey, it's going to be view only data, going to be able to make limited edits to it. I don't know what condition it's going to be in, and so forth. But now in many cases inside of SOLIDWORKS Design, you can now apply familiar tools like cuts, chamfers, fillets directly on mesh bodies. Now, some of these features, you're probably thinking I would only traditionally do these on solid bodies, but that's not necessarily the case today. So you think about that bridge from having that scan data, having that neutral file data, and then bringing it into SOLIDWORKS Design. That bridge to an editable design, in a lot of ways, kind of got built. Number 2, variable fillet chain. You ever have those fillets, if you have a variable radius fillets, that seems to sort of like break almost at tangent transitions? Well, those might be out for you. So as of 2025, we've incorporated a new variable fillet chain algorithm that creates smoother, continuous blends across those edge chains. The result is model edges and finishes that sort of flow together and don't look like they were just meshed together. Number 3, selection accelerators. Now we're seeing this in a few areas of SOLIDWORKS Design, the CAD package, but really what this equates to is just fewer clicks, faster modeling, faster features. So in this little demo here, I'm going to focus on chamfer selection accelerators, which was introduced just a couple years ago. What it basically is doing, as you can see, it's predicting edge loops and connected geometry as you select. Now, this might seem like a small update, but if you have ever done fillets or chamfers inside of SOLIDWORKS, you know that can result potentially in a lot of clicks to potentially a lot of small edges. So what I would say to you is just look out for it. If you're using a newer version of SOLIDWORKS like SOLIDWORKS Design 2025 or 2026, you'll probably see that your selections go a lot quicker and a lot smoother than they used to. Number 4, sheet metal enhancements. Okay, so this one is a bit of a medley, I will admit, but if you work in sheet metal, if you work with sheet metal at all, sheet metal parts in SOLIDWORKS, this one is going to hit pretty hard. A couple features to go through. Bend notches. Bend notches, they improve manufacturability at intersections. We know that they exist on parts. It wasn't exactly easy or automated inside of SOLIDWORKS Design in previous releases to put them in, but now you can put them in no time at all. Edge flanges, this has been a big one for years, has been requested by a lot of you out there. They support non-planar faces as well as new end conditions, but that first one is especially pertinent. I know a lot of you have been asking for that. We also added a new, much more dynamic way to stamp sheet metal parts. So we've added the ability to incorporate these sort of sketch-based parametric forming tools via a stamp feature inside of the part mode in SOLIDWORKS Design. So if you bundle all these together from over the past few releases, really, I think the message here is that we're making your sheet metal designs look less like they're sort of renditions of what will be in production and more like almost exactly what's going to be on production, which I think can make for some much clearer prints. Number 5, import improvements. So over the past couple releases, improvements to non-native file types, bringing those into SOLIDWORKS, they've allowed you to do a couple really useful things. So the first one I want to go through is the ability to select only the bodies that you want to import before SOLIDWORKS Design commits at a resource level to importing all these other bodies inside of an assembly document that you neither want nor need. A second enhancement to import workflows is the ability now inside of SOLIDWORKS Design 2026 to import in the background. So I think the overarching benefit to both of these should be pretty clear. If you combine the benefits, you're able to keep SOLIDWORKS Design ready for you to continue designing, documenting, opening up other documents. Basically, it's available to you as a program instead of being locked up and churning on data import, potentially much more often than in the past. Number 6, structure systems improvements. So if you work with weldments, frames, structures, they just got easier. Here's a couple right off the bat. We've improved the previews. We've improved live corner management, which means you can pretty much see exactly what your structure will do before you commit to having SOLIDWORKS Design build it, make it measurable, etc. on screen. That means a couple things, but to put it simply, there's fewer surprises in terms of the end result and fewer rebuilds. Number 7, simplified configurations. Overall, we're designing complex parts, have a lot of IP included in them, of course. They can tend to drag down performance at a certain point. So using simplified configurations or defeature lets you lighten up your models, swap in simplified versions without, and this is key, without losing the original. We've updated this in a number of ways over the past few releases. You can think of it, in other words, as getting performance optimization without compromise. Number 8, custom properties and cut list properties. Did you know that as of recent releases, you can now append document units directly inside the custom properties pane and cut list properties right inside of that same pane, inside the custom properties pane? This is really one of those sort of workflow polished style updates to where you don't necessarily have to go back and forth for everything, the custom properties pane, the cut list properties pane. And you can access, once again, cut list properties from inside the custom properties pane, which to me is one of those features where you're probably thinking, I thought we could do that before. Well, now you can. Number 9, save as previous release. So with this update, you can save parts back 2 major releases back. So if you're using SOLIDWORKS Design 2026, you can save back to 2025 or 2024, and you can also include reference geometry or reference components or reference part files. So finally, your vendor or your teammate that is using a previous version, they don't necessarily have to be on the exact same version from day one, which means if you want to, you can upgrade faster. Number 10, cloud services. So whether you're using SOLIDWORKS Design in a serial numbered capacity, which means you activate with serial number, or you're using it in a named user capacity via 3D Experience, doesn't really matter how it's licensed, you have this capability that I'm about to show you here. Cloud services for SOLIDWORKS, it includes natively the ability to manage iterations of your designs, which can function sort of like versions, if you think about it that way, under full revisions of your parts or your assemblies or your drawings. So what's the benefit? Well, you can sort of end that save as version 2, save as version 3 file bulk nightmare right here, right now. Thanks again for watching. I hope to see you in the live chat on the next episode of SOLIDWORKS Live. Take care.